and learn.
It's NAMC's 50-second lunch and learn.
Big hand. Okay, thank you, Roger. Stand corrected. NAMC 50-second. It's probably the longest streak of lunch and learns in the greater Houston area, certainly in construction and maybe in other places, sure. Roger. Okay, so here you are at NAMC, the top, the best, because of you, Small Contractors Association, okay? So you're in good company because it's all about you and it's because of you. So having said that, my name's Abel Garcia. I'm the executive director and proud to be here. Now, my pleasure to introduce our chairman of the board and also, of course, our chairman of our education committee. So Roger, big hand for Roger.
All right, thank you. All right, good deal. Thank you, Abel. Yes, no, absolutely. I appreciate, like I said, you mentioning Roger's 52nd and all that because I pour a lot of my heart into this. It's team effort. Like I said, I wouldn't be able to do this without Roxana, you, Abel. Today we have an outstanding presentation with Julie Hartman, Susan Repka, with now B2G Victory, which I'm curious about the name. I hope we hear about where the name came from, or at least that would be a question that I would ask if you'd address it, maybe however you want to handle that one. But that was something. But I talked to Julie. I've known you, Julie, for years, and Susan as well, from all kinds of endeavors. I mean, they've been around and out. I guess I won't say how many years, right? I mean, we're approaching the age, right, that we're like, oh yeah, no. A while, yeah. That's what I was trying to realize. Like, it used to be back in the day. Oh, I know this person for 10 years, and it was like, oh my God, 10 whole years. And now, we're getting into the decades territory, right? But it's all good. As Abel was saying, my name is Roger Pombro, and I'm currently chair the board here at National Association of Minority Contractors Houston chapter. For those on connected online, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for connecting. Abel was pointing out to people we have a fantastic facility here. Not we, MCA Communications. It's a great major corporate partner of NAMC. Mr. Ricky Cortez is their president. I have the distinct honor and privilege of serving alongside him on the board, on the NAMC board. He is currently our executive vice chair. So if anything were to happen to me, we're in better hands. Mr. Ricky Cortez will step up. It's I just remember when it's like Karen took over and then Ruben took as chair. Then he asked me to be executive vice chair. I said, like, Ruben, I'll be looking after your health. It's like because at that time, I mean, it was like 4 or 5 years ago. Probably 4 years ago, and I was like, we have a lot of work to do. So it's one of those things. But also, and I always like to point it out. And we've had a very, very long streak here at NAMC of a lot of continuity. A lot of board members, everybody joins. They stay along for the ride, and we all do our part. So I'm just looking to be part of this great effort and to take it to better places. And then whoever, Ricky or whoever wants to do this, and take over, we'll continue to do great things for our members, okay? And speaking of great things for our members, next Thursday, 8 days from today, March the 10th, at the Sheraton Brook Hollow, is that what it is? It's like, somebody asked me, 610 and 290, that's Sheraton right there. Be there. It's sold out. I mean, we're out of booths, we're out of tables, we're out of everything. Of course, attendance is free. So now what we need is for everybody to come out. If you want to meet Houston's premier prime contractors and owners, they're going to be there. Okay. Now I can say that because it's not only the booths got sold out, but they got sold out to the top of the top, to the very best prime contractors. Okay. I don't want to go names because they'll start mentioning some, and some I remember because they're my clients, but some others aren't. But this is ENR, top 20, quality. Everybody that has work of significance is going to be there. So if you want to be able in one morning to hit everybody up, that's what you want to go in construction. I was just talking to one of them that's going to be out there, and these are people that got a lot of work at Metro, the airport system, at the Port of Houston, at all the city departments. And like I said, we're bursting at the seams. The city is, okay? And I hear the entire Gulf Coast region, okay? So these are folks that already have a backlog of billions of dollars, okay? I mean, billions with a B in some of those cases throughout the region, okay? Work in hand, because I was talking to a guy in 2022, I'm getting pretty booked already, and I was getting nervous about 23, having the people, the personnel and all that. So, and this guy, he was mentioning the same thing. I mean, they're trying to figure out, what is the best opportunities out there. So we're in times of picking and choosing, okay? So pick and choose wisely. Come out here, meet all the prime contractors. They're going to have all the big fat contracts. They're going to be needing, participation. They're going to be needing quality contractors such as ourselves, such as NAMC members. Next Thursday, at, what is it? 8:30 in the morning, 9 in the morning. When are we opening the gates? Okay, be there 8:30. Until 2 o'clock. 4 breakaway sessions and a great luncheon. Okay, we're gonna come and do business meet, and we're gonna feed you. Well, if you bought a ticket anyway. Like I said, those are sold out. So let me, not get carried away with that one. So the expo, there's gonna be greater things coming down the road. The golf tournament, then it's the spring unfolds. I'm not the golfer, so that's something that I get to enjoy more from the sidelines there. But I'm always have a great time. That's going to be coming up as well, so be on the lookout for that. May the 19th is the date. Okay, May the 19th, Pearland Golf Course. So after March the 11th, right? After March the 10th, we're going to start, talking about the golf tournament, and so that you can do some more business, with our great major corporate partners. So enough said. Any questions? Of course, Roxana. I hope she's still here. Our fearless executive assistant or executive. She's not an assistant anymore, Abel. I mean, she's Abel's executive sidekick. All right. We do have board members, Mr. Jesus Gonzalez. Where was it? He just walked through. Yes, Jesus, our board MVP. That's what I like to call him, because Jesus is always their president. I thank you very much. And then we have Mr. Greg Williams. Yes, thank you, Greg. Yeah, a round of applause. It's like we have such a big room. I mean, so the people that and Maribel Sunshine. Where is Maribel Rodriguez? There you go. She's waiting for the bag. She still enjoyed her sandwich. Thank you, Maribel. Our social media extraordinaire, events committee chair. Thank you so much for all of you for also being here, along with Ricky and myself. Abel, did I forget anything else? Ready to rock and roll? Yeah, I was gonna say also the image. I love that Houston skyline. I mean, right? It's pretty neat. Yeah, it's like I was like, you thought I thought the same thing, but I didn't say it out loud. But but I'm like him. No, it's funny. I was working with Roxana probably a few months ago, whatever. And I was looking for a burgundy Houston skyline. There's a whole thing about colors, and she's not here to pick on me or whatever. But I'm always looking how to sharpen things for NAMC and all that. But it's all good. Very well, ladies. Susan Repka and Julie Hartman, thank you for being here. The floor is yours.
All right, I know this only works for the virtual world, but I'm going to hold it anyway. So thank you everyone for being here, both in person and online. So we're talking about our logo. Now, you may have seen us recently in webinars, and it was SMR and Jay Hartman. Beginning of this year, we decided if we were going to spend all of our time working together, we should officially work together. B2G, business to government. We're going to help you create your victory plan for doing business with the government. So we're very excited to be here. It's nice to be in an in-person event. And it is nice to see so many familiar faces. All right, so let me introduce you to Julie. Julie is the reason we have been so successful in contracting. She is a certified proposal manager with over 20 years experience with an 87% win rate. She has secured a lot of government contracts for her clients. She owned a marketing agency. When she sold that, she took a small break and then she's back at it. All right, next. And this is me. I have over 20 years of experience working with small businesses. I was the executive director for the Women Business Enterprise Alliance, as well as the Women Contractors Association. So I love helping small businesses grow their business. So this is a perfect fit for me. All right. And our other team member is not here in person, but she is online with us today, and she's going to be dropping information into the chat for those that are out in the virtual world. One more. I was just saying, that's me again. So Emily has been with us for just about 4 or 5 months, but we've known her and worked with her for many years. She has. Where did we go? All right, so she has a lot of experience working with small businesses as well. She's worked for a small business incubator. She has done nonprofit fundraising, and again, she worked with me at WEA, so she is an expert in certification. Her name is Emily, and she's right there. No.
In the chat.
All right, so we're going to continue on. He's going to catch up with us. Government contracting is opportunity. Opportunity for you. Oh, there's Emily. All right, so next. And this is our information. Emily is dropping it in. If y'all want to grab a screenshot, everybody get your camera out, take a picture. So, like Greg, like you don't know how. I believe we talked this morning. No. This is our contact information as well as all of our social media. Opportunity. It's opportunity for you to grow your business. And it's all about you. So this is a great way. You know the great thing I love about government contracting? It's transparent. You can find out who buys your services from which government entity. All you do is a little research and you know. So this is a great way for you to build your business.
All righty, and so today, go ahead and advance to the next slide. We're going to go over quite a bit. This is going to be how to win government contracts by fire hose. And so take bits and pieces, put it into your victory plan, things that you want to accomplish next week, the following quarter, or maybe it's something that you want us to help you with. So go ahead and put that as a follow-up item. Go ahead. So how have I been so successful in the last 20 years of getting $5.5 billion worth of government contracts? It's right here. 60% of everything that you're going to need for one contract, you're going to need for the other, whether that's for a prime contractor, right? If you're going to be a sub to send it to a prime, you are going to be the prime in order to submit. So the government code, and I'm not going to bore you with it, but this is the Texas government code, Title 10, blah, blah, blah. And then if you keep going and you scroll and scroll and scroll, here it is. This section 2269.55. When you zoom in, is the stuff that you're going to need on every single contract. And like I said, whether you're a prime or a sub, you're going to need price, right? If it's an RFP, if it's an RFQ, you're not going to need that. But anyway, you're going to need experience, reputation, safety. Obviously, if you're specifically in construction, you're going to need the people, you're going to need the team. So what we did is we took this and we divided that into 4 chunks for today because we're limited on time. Trust me, we would love, wink, wink, Abel and Roger, to do a full day session on this hands-on workshop, but we divided it and put it into 4. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is, so we took evaluation criteria. So this is from exact RFPs and RFQs, right? And so we're going to chunk these. And as you can see, firm experience can be up to 20%, right? And then your project team is another 10%. Your schedule is 6. So we wanted to take real examples from real RFPs and RFQs. And as we go through this information, tie the government code to your evaluation criteria, to what you need to submit. And we're going to show you examples. All righty, so Here they are. So go ahead and click. So the first one is the response. So that's being compliant or responsive. Then you've got experience and reputation, profile and team. These are the actual people that are going to do the work. Compliance versus responsive. That's what I'm going to talk about right now. Okay, firm profile. Sorry, I'm used to having my own clicker. Experience, and then the team. All right. First thing we're going to talk about is compliance versus responsive. All righty. So 50% of all proposals are thrown in the trash. Not literally, figuratively, but legally they can't chunk them. So they all go in a box. They don't even get looked at, regardless of how many hours, how much time, how much money you spent on everything. If you're not compliant, you go in the trash. So for example, if you're interested in doing business with the University of Houston, if your hub plan is not compliant, they won't even look at your proposal. They don't care. If it's not correct, it doesn't even get looked at. That's why they have you do your hub plan separate. The hub team looks at it, then they give the check, then it moves on. All righty. If you don't turn it in on time, those types of things. So you have non-compliant, but you want to be responsive. So like I said, when you're non-compliant, you're not following the instructions. I know sometimes it doesn't make sense why they want things in a certain area. It doesn't make sense why they're asking you to repeat things in one section in another. You have to follow the instructions. And many times Susan and I were together. I'm like, here, come here, look at this one. Why are they asking for this? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. So we ask the question, right? But we make sure whatever they ask for, we put it in there. Even if there's a tab and there's one piece of paper behind it, go ahead and follow the instructions, because if you don't, you're going to be non-compliant. And exactly like Sam said, then you're out of there. And it makes sense because it levels that playing field, right? So it gives the small businesses equal playing field as the prime contractors. And it also makes sense, if you can't follow instructions at this point in the process, then what other instructions are you not going to follow? And if you can't follow instructions, then why do I even want to do business with you? These are our rules. And if you want to do business with us, then you need to follow these rules. And if you do follow these rules, well, then we'll be more than happy to give you $1 million contract. Okay, right? All righty, you turn it in late. Well, we all know that that doesn't even happen. Like, it's not even there. So you've got to make sure to sign all of the forms. When you're doing your responses, start with the forms first. Does a couple of things. Does like a Jedi mind trick on yourself, right? Because you're making progress, right? So when you're in that home stretch, it doesn't seem so overwhelming, right? So do your forms first, and always do your forms. Now, all of these forms and stuff, like we saw, it could be worth up to 2 to 25 points. So when you're responsive, that means you already have that relationship. You understand the client's needs. You've listened to maybe the board minutes at the City of Houston. You've actually gone to the port and talked to the buyer at the port. You really understand the needs, right? And you're catering your response to them or to that prime, right? Because 60% of it is the same, right? So take that time in your schedule, block out next Tuesday or the following Monday to sit, whatever time works best for you, and figure out, what do they really want? What are their pain points? How are you better than the competition? Because if you just put in a bunch of can, blah, 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 guess what? Your competitor's going to say the can, blah, 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 right? So you've got to take the time. And also, back to taking the time, be concise and compelling. I'm an evaluator and I have 10 proposals to review and they're 10 pages each. My eyes start crossing over, right? So if you can get your point across and be concise and compelling in fewer words, the evaluators are going to appreciate that. If you can go back to that scoring evaluation and in every single session, make sure that that evaluator can give you those maximum number of points on the first page, I guarantee that you'll get more points. If you can answer that on page 1, why do I have to read the rest? I'm going to give you all the points. All righty, firm profile. This is still me. All right, firm profile. So this is about your firm, right? This is why they should choose you, right? And this can be up to 14 to 16 points. So now we're almost at 40% points of your proposal, right? This is your scorecard. So your firm profile, the easiest and best way to get those maximum number of points on page 1 is to do the by the numbers. What is your EMR rating, right? How many years have you been in business? How many crews do you have? How many projects have you successfully completed? How many years have you been doing work with the city of Houston? Or what is the percentage of repeat clients that come back to you? These are types of numbers. How many years does your project manager have? And then here's some other things that you want to make sure to address that maybe you're not currently talking about in your firm profile. How do you handle communication? How do you handle problems? How do you do cost savings? Those types of things, if those aren't a part of how you're talking about how your firm does business and your core value propositions, you need to make sure to include it. Alrighty, so not everything to everyone, right? I don't have watches, I don't have a boombox, I don't have some Coach purses in my trunk, right? Focus on, I'm glad somebody got it. That was funny, right? But think about it. People are like, what do you do? Well, what do you need? No. What do you do? And if you have any questions on what do you do, then go to your chart of accounts, go to the revenue stream on your financials. How are you categorizing your revenue? Where is your business plan going? Where do you want to grow your business? What do you want to do more of? Where are your profit centers? Who are your profitable clients? That's what you want to do more of, okay? All of the other stuff that you're barely making any margins on, don't promote that stuff, right? Stick to your core business operations. All righty, so here's some examples. This was actually an example for a presentation where we had a prime and then we had all of the subs. So your role as a certified subcontractor, regardless of what certification you have, is really important. So when a prime contractor asks for your logo or asks for these types of numbers, you count and you matter because these all total up, right? So here's an example. This is pretty impressive, right? At quick glance, you're like, okay, and you know what these numbers communicate? I minimize risk, right? Because nobody wants to take a chance on somebody. Just do that at quick glance. Go ahead. And same type of thing here. So the next one. So these are the people, the licensed professionals. We've got a bench, right? And that's fine if you don't have a whole lot of people on payroll and if you don't want to have a whole lot of people on payroll, right? Then what are some additional resources that you can lean on? What are some strategic alliances? What are associations like NAMC that you're a member of that if you need reinforcements, you've got it. Alrighty, here's some actual pages from some proposals that we wanted to show you. It's important that y'all see what we're talking about and see how we apply it, right? And so these are actual 2 pages of firm profiles from proposals that have won. We talk about your county experience, relevant on-call. So if you're doing job order contracts, IDIQs or calls, talk about how many you've done and your disciplines. There's the numbers, there's the municipal experience. This was specific to DFW, so we called on the area, right? And then here's another one. So our clients, 95% of our clients repeat work. And listed them, right? You don't have to sit here and go through and read every single one, but you're like, wow, that's an impressive list, right? So you have to say how awesome you are. You have to articulate why us. Your mama's not there next to the evaluators to tell them how awesome you are. So be bold. Don't say, I mean, it's a pleasure to serve you. We are the best choice. We are the best value. And here's why. And you need to make sure to put that in the first sentence of your cover letter. You can thank them for the opportunity at the end, but I guarantee you that your competitors, their cover letters and their firm profiles are going to talk about how honored they are in the opportunity. Be different, stand out, and be bold. I think there's one more. Nope, now it's Susan.
All right, so now we've done our firm profile. Let's talk about the experience that your firm has done. What projects have you completed that are similar in scope? You can't just put any firm project in there. It has to be one that matches the scope of work. All right, so this could be 19, 20 points. That's a really good chunk. Relevant projects, and read the RFP or the RFQ. Some of them have a limit of the last 5 years. Some of them will limit the number of projects that you can put in there. They want you to put your top projects in there. They don't want to go through 40 project sheets. Concise. All right, project sheets, one-sheeters, fact sheets, sales sheets. You can actually use these to go out and market your company. Past performance, all of those, we kind of call them all of that, but basically it's your relevant project experience. So this one, you can have 3 relevant projects. Whew, that's not a lot. You got to pick out the best ones. One above it, have you done business with this particular entity? So you get extra points if you've done business with the entity. All right, so how do you know the scope of work? Right, you got to pick out your best projects, got to match the scope of work. How do you find the scope of work? Well, it's written in the document. It basically gives you the project background, the overview, and what your company will need to do if you win this project. So this is actually the Gregg County parking garage, and they laid out the entire scope of work. So there's some ways that you can make your project sheet sort of stand out. So the evaluator is going, okay, we need to see if they have all of this experience that we have listed on the scope of work. So let's make it really simple and do what's called a hot button. So this is what the company needs to have to win. This project has 5 of the 7 important factors. Now, not every project is going to check every button, but by the time they get through your 3 to 5 projects, they will see that you have experience in all 7 areas. All right, this is the parking garage, and we have their hot buttons listed right across the center to showcase they have done, this particular project has done everything that they're looking for. It has the office space. It's a parking garage. They did some community involvement. There's parking. Kind of important. So this kind of lays everything out. This project sheet was actually printed on 11 by 17, and they could fold it out and get the full view of it. We are seeing more and more government entities ask, what were your challenges? Tell us what the challenges and the solutions, or what did you do differently to save the client money? You can actually pull that information right out there. We are construction in Houston, Texas. There are challenges. It rained for 2 weeks. We could, right now, getting supplies is a challenge. What are your solutions that you provided to make sure that your construction project is on time and on budget? All right, if you are showcasing some of the plans, go ahead and list what each, like with this floor, what each floor of this is. So if you're familiar with the Jones Carpet building on 290 and the Beltway, it's the new TechStop building. That is the floor plans of what is in that new TechStop building. So we made sure to pull that out of what is on each floor so they could see that it met the requirements. All right, now let's talk about the people. So we've talked about the company as a whole and our projects. These are the specific people that will be on this project. We're not doing your whole company org chart. We're not doing everybody in your company. These are the individuals that will be responsible for getting the work done. All right, 10 points, 5 points. You can win or lose an opportunity on 5 points. You could be second place. It only counts in horseshoes, right? All right, so let's do the org chart. So we want to give them an overview of who all they're going to see, who the project manager is, which is the single point of contact for that entity. All of the individuals from the prime, as well as the individuals from any of the subcontractors. So this is a traditional org chart. On this one, we broke it down by disciplines. So they know which companies will be working in each different TxDOT pre-certifications is how that's broken down. Here you can clearly see who is the prime, sort of teal color, as well as the subcontractors in that cranberry color. This is one of my favorite org charts. This is a radial org chart. And what this shows is that the subcontractors are also communicating with each other to ensure this project is successful. They're not working in silos. They are a team. And here is a very similar one that does the same, has the same kind of communication and the breakdown. So there are different ways to showcase your company, but what you want to do is you want the evaluator, as soon as they open up this section, to get an idea of who are the people. Now we're going to introduce you to my friend Joe. Joe plays many different roles. His role at the company is he is vice president and a principal at the company that he works for. That is not his project role. In this particular project, he is just civil designer. Sometimes he is the project manager. Sometimes he is principal in charge. So his resume stays almost the same on every proposal. We have all of his education, we have his licenses, we have his industry involvement, how many years he's been involved in the industry, as well as how many years he's worked at the company that he works for. So that sidebar stays pretty much the same. We just update the years. We have his areas of expertise. This is everything that Joe is really good at. This is what he does company. That pretty much stays the same. Changes is the relevant project experience. Now this particular resume was in a Longview project. So we listed work that he has done for Longview or in the city of Longview. And it's very important for the city of Longview that the people who do work for them are engaged in the community. So we have listed his community engagement. Now this is Joe. Well, still Joe, except this is his roadway design. So we listed his TxDOT certifications, well, because it's a road. And we also, because of the way that this was limited on the number of pages, Joe only got a half page. The RFQ specifically wanted information on the projects listed on the resume. So we did a short description of the project as well as the linear feet, the cost, and where you can get the project was for the city of Longview. And now we have sidewalk ADA. Different descriptions. Some of the projects are the same, but we changed the description to focus on the scope of work. And this last one is residential street, Joe. Joe also has a K through 12. He has a higher education resume. So Joe has many resumes in his proposal library that he can pull based on the project.
Of 5 things that y'all have taken away already from the time that we've spent together. 5, at least 5. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So this is pretty topical about what primes need because of the event next week. How many of you currently are doing work with at least 2 of Houston's prime contractors? Greg, you can raise your hand. Yeah. Okay. All right. So the rest of y'all, after next week and these tips, you will be, right? And so that's the goal. All righty. So we work hand in hand with many small businesses, many contractors, many subs, as well as with the prime. So we truly are the conduit to help businesses be successful in government contracting, but also help primes be successful in government contracting. And in turn, the government agencies hit their goals, right? So all together, and that's the victory, and that's the swoosh and the continuum that's built into our logo. And so when primes ask you for your information, they want it when, Greg? And Roger, agreed. So back to that 60%, if you don't have some of these things that we talked about, your firm profile, your resume, sheets, or some of these project sheets, or at least those brief descriptions of projects, you need to do that. And how do you get all that information out of your head, right? Well, you can either, like Greg does, he calls Susan and they talk through it and they record it and we transcribe it, or you can use the notes feature, on your phone and at least get it out of your head, or, late at night, open up Microsoft Word. But you've got to be able to get that out of your head and down into information. All righty. And so the main tool that primes look for, and especially that you're going to need next week, is a capability statement. And as a thank you for having us here today, we're offering a $50 coupon for a capability statement. If you need one by next week, or if you already have one and would like for us to do a once over and give you some feedback and some pointers for it, we'd be more than happy to do that. So your capability statement must be easy to read. Well, first off, no one reads, right? So it needs to be easy to read if by chance somebody does actually read it. And so it needs to be chunked. It can't just be a sea of words, and you've got to make sure to have contact information. We have seen hundreds of capability statements, and I would say the large majority of them don't have any contact information on them. It's a website. No, I want a phone number, I want an email address, and I want a person. If I'm the buyer, if I'm a prime, who is that person that I'm going to call? And who's going to actually answer that phone or answer that email? So here's some additional information that you've got to have on there. And your voicemail can't be full. A few people. So you need to have your codes and your certifications. Maximize those certifications. It's more than just wall art. So put it on your capability statement. We've got some examples to show you. So here's Greg's. Greg met us in 2019 at an HCC event. And this was, his capability statement was the first project that we did. So you can see we've got his certifications, we've got some clients, we've got all of the information, all of his codes, some very nice by the numbers. Here's another example. Unlimited, very quick. What does he do? He does engineering, he does consulting, and he does project management. That's it. Those are his three, his 3 buckets, so to speak. And Dwight's photo, Dwight's the one that you're going to call. Here's his projects. Here's a picture of a recent project because we had some extra space for him. All righty, here's another one. Here's Rosa, right? Rosa, we did a seminar. I don't remember. She was on one of our webinars. So here's hers. So as you can see, the capability statement is branded. It's just not boring and white from Microsoft Word. This is an impression opportunity. This is going to first impressions, your first introductions, whether that physically handing your capability statement to someone or you're emailing it to them. You want to make sure that it matches your branding and that it's professional. And our last and final one, we've got a few more, sorry. Waterlight group, as well as the guest group. So we're just trying to show you kind of different formats and different ways that you can put all of this information in there and not have it look boring. We are seeing since COVID more and more pictures as our interviews with buyers and other government agencies, because we haven't been able to people like this in a while. Who is that person that I'm actually going to be talking to? And our final one is, Chef Yo. So that's capability statements. We talked about how to win a contract, not only directly, but as well as getting you ready for the event next week. So few items from your action plan and our time together. How many of you are going to work on your capability statement for next week? A couple of you. Okay, yeah, great. We also find that if you choose 5 or 10, right, focus on who are those primes that you want to network with next week. Who are those government agencies that you really want to do business with, and target them. There's an HCC event on March the 8th. That's next week too. Wow, we got a busy week next week. And maybe you don't know who those are quite yet, but think about that. Don't try to be everything to everyone. Again, right, focus on those 5. If you have a lot of time in your schedule, then maybe focus on 10, but be able to track it. Find out what opportunities they have and the types of work that you do. What contracts have they been awarded under your most recent NAICS code or your NIGP codes? Who's the buyer? Who are the primes that hold those large contracts that you need to get in front of? Those are the types of questions, and be very strategic about your business development and your capture management, and then follow through with a series of tactics. Review your materials. If there's a typo on those, if you need an extra set of eyes, just send it over to us. Send it to hello@B2G Victory, and we'll look at it, and then we can put together a plan for you. Revise or build your proposal library. We just went over 60%, right? If that's rock solid, you have just astronomically increased your chances of winning. So spend the time and get your proposal library together. Attend a pre-bid meeting, right? That goes back to your top 5 or 10. Look to see what types of opportunities are coming out. Look to see where you fit into those arenas. Whew, that's it. Oh, wait, no. Susan says, no, ma'am, that is not it. Oh, sorry. It is not it.
That's okay. This is our contact information. Emily is dropping it online again, as well as feel free to take a screenshot. We hope that you connect with us on social media. We are always sharing tips. We have about 20 YouTube videos with information that you could use to help you during the process. You know what? Yeah. Oh, okay. There is information online. I don't guess we have the latest one. All right, so we have information online on our website. Just go to b2gvictory.com. At the top, it says past sessions. There we have dropped some handouts for you in that. We've also, provided you with some various information that you can use. So now we're going to open the floor up for questions. There we go. We have a question. It really depends on what you're asking. So we have set pricing for some things, and we have hourly pricing for others. For a capability statement, it's $400 normally, and you've got a $50 coupon, so it's $350. If you're looking for proposal work, it's going to depend on the proposal and how long we think it'll take. It's an hourly rate of $175 an hour. We can help them develop that, yes. Right, so we ask questions, we write, we go back and forth with it to get it to where it fits your company, and it's still your information, but we're gonna wordsmith it. You can use it over and over again.
Exactly, Sam. You're exactly right. So that 60% is an investment in your proposal. And once you've got that rock solid, you're able to win.
Because you only have like a 2-week notice, right? So you've got 2 weeks to respond. If you have some of this work already done, then you can respond faster. Yes, we do have clients that have multiple capability statements. We went over like some of Johnson and Pace's work. He's done did the parking garage. So they have some that are geared toward just K through 12. They have capability statements that are just K through 12. They have capability statements that are just geared toward the survey services. Greg has his normal one, and then he also, because he just recently won a tips contract, he has one geared toward tips, so that he can market to those specific entities that use tips. Thank you, Greg. And I am also his speaker. I have him booked for speaking engagements. If y'all would like to engage Greg, just contact me. I'm gonna let our
the question was, what are the biggest pitfalls pre and post? So for pre, I would say not having a strategy, not having a capture plan or strategy, and not identifying your top 5 or 10, because you'll be driving or somebody will call, oh, I've got this great opportunity. I think you need to go for it. It's this proposal and it's due in 3 days, right? And then you drop everything and you scramble to get that done. If it's not in what your targeted NAICS codes are, if it's not with one of the primes that you've identified, if it's not with one of your agencies, then you need to pause and kind of go, okay, what are the wins from that? I mean, yes, a win is a win, right? A check, absolutely. But what else could come of that? If it makes sense, then maybe you're up till 3 a.m. If it doesn't, then say, thank you so much. The next time an opportunity comes up, great. Not having your proposal library, right, together and scrambling at the last minute to throw stuff together, because I've been on all of the sides. I've been on the putting it together side. I've been on the evaluator side. I've been, and you can tell when you start flipping through stuff, who was at Kinko's the night before, or who hit the submit button at 1:58 when it was due at 2 o'clock. I mean, there really is a clear line of demarcation from the not to the 3 or 4 maybes, and you always want to be in that. So not being prepared and not making that investment that Sam was, mentioning. If you're going to play in this arena, it's worth it, and it's a marathon, right? I mean, we met Greg at an HCC event in 2019, and he's on the phone every day with Susan, and we've done 6, 7 proposals for you, and we've won 5 or 6 of them. So it takes time, but just like anything, if you put forth the investment, it does play off long term. Did I cover that for the pre? Post. So your question, what are the mistakes that people make in post? Okay, so back to what's your win, right? If this is the first time you've ever done this, you know what? A win is just getting it out the door, right? I mean, I did it, and then you celebrate, whew, and then you sleep for a day or 2, right? So that's a win. But another win is, and I don't think enough people take advantage of this post part, right? And some of this post goes back to the pre. So post, you submitted it. Whether you won or not, get a debrief and a bid tabulation, right? That tells you who else is playing in your sandbox. And even if you did win, who's right behind your tail, right? And that goes back to the pre. You identify your top 5 or 10. I want to request, because it's open records, who currently holds this contract. I also want to request a copy of their proposal. right? Because you can get it, or the pricing, or who else bid it. Port is great. You can go to Port Houston and they have everything there. Also, who attended the pre-bid meeting? Maybe the opportunity's closed, right? And that closed 2 weeks ago. Snap. Sort of a little bit, but I can go get that pre-bid meeting. I can see who are the primes that are doing this type of work, who are the other subs that are doing this type of work, what certifications do they have that maybe I don't have or I need to get. And all of their contact information, exactly. And then also in the post, you know, pause and say, okay, what did I do good on this? What did I not, right? We did work many years ago. It was an architectural firm here in Houston that wanted to do work with Dallas Independent School District. We met, we did a go, no go. That's another thing for the pre is look at it and say, and do a go, no go decision. Does this really make sense? Score yourself, right? Because you've got that. Remember, we showed you all of those numbers. How do I think I'm going to score? And be honest with yourself, right? If I'm going to score an 82, well, then that's my 82. The decision is, am I going to move forward with that 82? And what is my win? So back to that company. So one of the requirements was you had to have done work with DISD. And they didn't, right? Well, how do you get work if nobody gives you the chance to do the work, to get the chance to do the, that's so frustrating, right? Well, that was worth 10 points. So we already started at a 90. They moved forward. I was like, here's my invoice, you know, because we were eyes wide open. They didn't win it. It was an IDIQ. They chose 3. They were number 5. But what did happen is after the post, we were very professional and asked for the bid tabulation and the debrief. We said, look, we really want long-term to open up an office here in Dallas. And he said, okay, so how we handled ourselves on the professional level and handled that process, then every month they kept following up. Is there an informal opportunity? Is there a small project? Is there a prime who's not hitting their goals? Is there, and at about month 5, it popped. And they got a $12,000 contract. So it wasn't the big shiny, you know, one that they wanted, but it was a contract. Their foot's in the door. Hey, I'll take a check for $12,000, right? And now they have experience, right? Next time around. So a win, that immediate win isn't always the long-term win. So take advantage of as much post as it is pre. Final question. Yes. So his comment for our online crew is make sure that if they're asking for the same thing in another section, that you copy and paste and put it there. We're seeing a lot of that, especially because a lot of agencies are going online, right, with their Bonfire and their Ion Wave. And what's happening is different people are scoring different sections, right? And so if I'm evaluator and I'm in charge of this section and it says see such and such section or see page 6 or whatever, I don't have the time. If you didn't give me what I wanted, where I wanted it, guess what you get? A 0, right? So yeah, make sure, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yes. Come on, to the mic. So the people online.
We love the colors. By the way, at NAMC, we are number one, okay? So that you can say, we visited the number one construction, right? And so because we're number one, we do very few emails. We, like you, do everything in a picture and we send a text message. Okay, so we're trying to be better at what we do. I only saw one thing wrong with your website, by the way. I'm a very frank person. I'm like you, right? To the point. You're missing NAMC on your logos at your web page. Okay, this is the second time. This is the second time you've presented. We'd like to see it on there. Thank you. I'll pass the microphone to the city of Houston.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tisha Coleman. I'm with the City of Houston Housing and Community Development Department. So our department of the city is the, oh my goodness. Okay, sorry about that. So our division of the city, we actually focus on community development, developing our communities, and the best way we feel we can do that is by empowering our smaller businesses. So very short, we have a program that is called Section 3. Once you are certified as a business concern, it will give you certain benefits over your competitors. So these ladies are preparing you to get those proposals or to get those projects and to get your proposals and everything right, your offers right. But we can actually offer you an additional benefit. So what do you do if two of you are equally qualified? Okay, so if you are Section 3 certified as a business concern by federal policy, you would have to get that proposal over the other one if you were equally qualified. And once you sent your information in, I want to stress that, and you are qualified, then if we have to choose out of two, you will get that advantage. So that's it. I can give anyone my card afterwards or my information for more information. Thanks.
Close this out.
Absolutely. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Susan. It's outstanding. I mean, it's an incredible presentation. The visuals, the graphics are great, to the point. Exactly. They're telling you how to win more contracts. Okay, that's the name of the presentation. That's I loved it. I remember when I heard it the first time. This presentation, they did it once before. It's been like 2-3 years, and I've been just chomping at the bit. And when we were going to have the next chance, and I'm glad it came. And it came at perfect timing, just ahead of the conference, so you can all polish up your, talk to them. Don't attempt it at your own peril. But of course, if you want some sound advice, NAMC is bringing those resources to you, which is what NAMC is all about. So I don't know. I'm ready. Okay, absolutely. Well, thank you all. I mean, we'll hang around here in the network some more. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Susan. Sam, you gotta say something? Yeah, they'll be around. That's what we got them ahead and all that. But it's all good. And like I said, I did hear, like I said, there's gonna be opportunity. We'll talk some more. We're always talking about additional workshops. At a cost. If it's a one-day workshop and all that, we're definitely interested. We'll poll the membership, see, the level of interest. I'm sure already in this room, I can see there's a lot of interest, and there's everybody watching online, but more to come. I mean, we're just getting the year started, right, Abel? 37 in person, make it 38, 39, 40 in-person events. That's what NAMC is about. NAMC is about getting our members what they need to be successful. All right. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic day.